Okay, so to do that, I will delete everything here actually. So just delete hierarchies, and I already got this Kern Lab collection. Let's see if I can bump up all of them. Yeah, it's already maximum. Sound seems a bit low. Okay, so I import here the Kern Lab model, like I said. This definitely, you can just append, just the one that you created in quads mode, no problem. So let me grab it here, Kern Lab. Append, then go to collection, Kern Lab, append. Yeah, I did it twice. We won't need string height, string radius. Remember, this was already exported. We don't need that thing, and I can just move it over here. Oh wait, better. I should have selected hierarchy first. Then move it here, get rid of this guy. Right, fine. So what do we do now? We're gonna go to Skeletor, and it's gonna create a skeleton here. Okay, this is not the latest version of the Skeletor file. I know it because there's no LUS or LUS Tween mode. Let me try to import that, or maybe I have to install this the old version. I haven't published the new one just yet. But yeah, let me remove this and edit again just to make sure. So this is on documents, Skeletor S3O, Skeletor scripts, install, enabled, and okay, that's the right version now. So we're going to use this button. Make sure you have the right collection selected. It should not affect the other collections you've got. In this case, it's the reference animation that I got from Maya. This is basically the animation that I'm going to copy over. So that's a very simple one. But yeah, we got the standard and the advanced animations on different positions of the timeline. And I probably tidy it up a little bit. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna want to select everything. Yeah, remember the filter to make your life easier. Click first, shift click last, and create skeleton. That's all you gotta do, really. Make sure to save that before you run the command, because if it fails, you have a clear point to restart. Yeah, just click and create skeleton, there you go. So if all went right, you're gonna be able to check that with the armature selected. The objects are not children pieces of this guy. So enable object contents, you're gonna see the meshes and all of that. So yeah, each of those pieces for you to see the rotation mode, etc. If I just click on them, you see some stuff, and the most important thing is that you should get the bones and the armature, everything set to Y, X, Z Euler, this rotation setting here. Okay, that's the order, the rotation order that Spring uses, so the script should do that for you. So just a quick check. And you can select the armature and go to pose mode or hit 3 on your keyboard. And you should see the same for the foldables. Okay. So yeah, armatures, empties. Okay. Well, with that done, I have to do a start key. Usually I will separate those layers, just for organization purposes. Right bear, left bear are the same position. It's no big deal, just check. Oh yeah, it's just the pieces which lie to the other side. I've put the pivots on the same side. It's a very strange position. This kind of situation where probably it would, just revert and recreate it after setting the pivot. Just to make sure it's easier to copy and paste keyframes and invert them later. So let's see. This guy, oh yeah, that's the one. Let me just do isolate selection and put them here. Reveal everything. So I'm using my shortcuts now. If you're interested in that, I'll be happy to share the shortcuts I use. Shift H, Z, on F2, X on F2, Alt H reveals everything. Okay, done. Of course, the bad part is that I have to do the same and re-export the file. Well, not necessarily, because this would just be offset. But yeah, it would be a good move. I won't do it now for time's sake, but yeah. Okay, so saving that again, selecting the hierarchy and running the create skeleton. There you go. Alright, so as I was saying, it's a good practice to just select everything from one side, and at that point I usually would recommend to you don't want to hide the meshes, but you want to make them unselectable, at least for now. At least if you need to animate the transparency, actually the show and hide property of them. So I would pick everything on the right side. Oh wait, and on pose mode. And I can select those guys. I can assign them, for instance, to this position. I have a control. I have a shortcut for that. It's bone layer something. Yeah, change bone layers. Set to G. I don't remember if I had set this shortcut, but okay. Change bone layers, then just assign this part, and whatever's at the center, I move to this one here. It's just personal preference, usually do that left, middle, right. You can also select all the bones from the left and assign them the color property. You can do that too. It's for groups, if I recall correctly. It's not constraints. Yeah, there's a group property where you can just add them, assign them to. Oh, it's here actually. Bone groups. Yeah, you can just do an assign new group, color like left, and that'll get a color. You can then get like the left. So air R actually is right. So left would be The center would be green, and left would be blue. That's personal preference, again, just a suggestion. So the problem is that the names are right. Oh, this is actually a sign. It's switched. Anyways, I'm gonna fix this real quick and pause the video. All done. So now you have, right stuff, right side pieces and bones actually controlling them, the center ones and the left ones here. Okay, that makes it easier to, when you want to show everything, just select all of them. If you don't feel just a set of bones, so it's not super confusing, you just select the specific layer. So let's do the cover extension, so the cover animation. So I'm just going to keep this layer selected. You don't need to use protection by the way for now. Well, I don't usually do it. So let me show how I actually animate. Run a sip of water. So, yeah, as you can see, this guy rotates up to frame, I think it's 50. So I'm gonna do animation stepping. Actually, how often the tweening engine will update the speed. That'll be 4. I use 4 because Barrett used it in Skeletor, and I found it to be a good interpolation setting for Spring's purposes. So that's what I'm going to use. So instead of 50, I want to make sure it's a multiple of 4. So think about it, 40 is a multiple, but 50 is not. 52 is a multiple, so I want it to end here and not at 50. That's very important due to the tweening system. Of course, you can use frame by frame if you want, but that might become a bit more heavy in terms of processing. Anyways, let's stick to multiples of 4 and assign a key here. So how do I actually do that? First, what piece do you want to animate? That should be cover. Why is it cover? I think Miguel maybe this by mistake. Anyways, the convert piece is the one we want to animate. The angle, well, in this reference animation, I might be able to access the right amount, but since it's a part, so it's an actual mesh, I have to re-enable selection, and it's not wanting to let me select anything for some reason, but I can probably find here. Okay, so it actually ends by 51, and the rotation is not the rotation. Over auto rotation. Yeah, it's not showing in here. Probably, yeah, it's because I'm in pose mode. I forgot to switch back to object mode. And let's see. That's not updating here. Sometimes it does this kind of weirdness. Okay, I have to reselect. Anyways, rotation is 135. Of course, you don't need to do that if you're not kind of transferring an animation like I do. Yeah. Anyway, select again the armature, go back to pose mode and select convert. And 52, you can use the arrow keys to advance frames one by one. You can use comma and period. I think those are shortcuts I use. I don't remember if those are default, but you can use shortcuts to go to next keyframe and previous keyframe as well. Yeah, this would be rotation. Here it's negative. It wasn't the same here, so make sure to check what's the signal you need. And there you have it. So to key it, I don't do like Barrett. Barrett likes to use like Shift S and all of them. I think he used that. I really don't like it. I think it becomes really cluttered here. I prefer to just set a single keyframe. So just right click the axis of rotation or location, whatever you use. Do not use the scale, it doesn't work. Spring doesn't want it. So right click and insert single keyframe. The trick here to make your life easier, of course, many times you want to do auto keying. The trick here is to make sure your keying set is assigned to available. What does that mean? It means it's only going to create new keyframes for the channels which have already been keyed. In this case, color, X, Y, rotation, right? So now you can, well, actually you can leave that enabled all the time. Just make sure to set up your keys first. I think it's a good move. Do not rotate stuff before you know, selecting the available and then manually selecting. No, it's the safer path. I'm not saying it's the only way, of course, but it's probably going to make your channels much cleaner. So I go back to 0, and now I can do this, you know, manually. Well, auto key does it for everything. So let me undo. Let's see if there's some. Oh yeah, I forgot to do the only active keying set. Now I can actually do this numerically, 0, and it should be working. Okay. So as long as you use the default interpolation from within Blender, you should see exactly the same thing in Spring using the default settings for the SpringTweener, which is the tool that I've created to replicate these animations within the engine. But yeah, you can see here on Graph Editor, click F, you can see it does a regular sine Bezier interpolation, which is the default. Of course you can change it in SpringTweener. You can change it. It's code, it's very simple, scriptable code, but you can change that to whatever you want, but this is the default. So if you don't touch it, it's going to look just like Blender. It took me some pain to make this one-to-one, but works really, really well. Like, I even tried some very complex animation, it worked fine. Okay, so I did that for this guy. I'm going to do the same for instance, this dude here, choose a cover extension. Let me put this down and let me see where it starts to retract. It's over here somewhere, I think. Like, you don't have to be super precise, of course. This is just a reference. We can probably use 32, which is a module for a 4 as well, to start it. So yeah, so cover extension, this guy we're gonna move, make sure that you're set not too low but too local, so you can move it regardless of the rotation of the parent along its own axis, which is what Spring uses and which is the same system used for bones, so that's the best setting here. And then you can move and you see it just changes one axis, and yeah, you know, it doesn't matter if you move it over here, it won't auto key anything because there's no channel created, even if you're set to auto key. We go back to timeline. You see it's on, but due to the selection here it won't work. So just do it manually. It's very easy. Like you probably just set this up for everything first, or you just do it one by one. It's really up to your mood. If you want to be very organized and create all the channels you think you want to animate, and then just go into auto key and animate everything. Personally, I do it one by one. So yeah, remember, insert single keyframe. This guy is going to do it for I I think it's for the group of channels, which is not what I want. Like all the 3 rotation channels or all the 3 location channels. In my case, just the Y. Start single keyframe. If you expand here, see just one guy. Okay. So, and that'll be moved up to this frame too. And I just move it over. I won't be super precise here, probably just look it sideways to see, because I don't need to, so why would I? Probably just use a round number, or probably 21, let's see. Yeah, I'm being picky here. 21 seems good. So, yeah, as you can see, I don't need to create a channel, a keyframe anymore, it just worked. Okay, awesome. So, with that, I want to make the cover. Of course, I have to enable those guys and find the cap, then I rotate it, the cover for the 2 boxes, then I move the construction threads up, rotate their guides, so as to replicate the animation here, right? Yeah, you don't have to see that. It's probably a bit annoying, but I guess I'll just leave it on fast speed for you guys reference. And let me turn myself off. Probably didn't want to see me from start, but so let me get to regular speed here just to explain how to work with hiding and showing of object parts. You can see in the reference animation, you see that there are different parts for the regular and or standard and advanced factory modes, right? So how do we do that? How do we hide those parts and show them at a given frame? It's actually very simple, but you do that with the mesh setting. So I'm gonna do that. To be honest, on the script for the starting frame, for the startup event of your animation on LUS, LUS, you probably want to have it hiding and showing, manually. I think it's easier. Although if you're going to be switching back and forth, that's when you will want to get the hide and show keys here, like at frame 0, for instance. Usually I prefer to do that manually on the startup portion. That's up to you anyways. Both will work. So how do we hide, for instance, the right head advanced, so only the right head is shown, and only the right pointer, so that right pointer 2 is not shown, etc., etc. we get, this state for the simpler arm instead of the bulkier advanced construction arm. And we do that by actually hiding it on the viewport and keying that. To do that, you need to select the mesh. So this has to be enabled. Go back to object mode and take this guy, for instance. Usually you can just hit F here and go straight to the part that you want to select. Of course, there's no hierarchy there after you run Skeletor, which is why you should have this on a separate animation, separate file. Because if you want to, edit the source object file, which is going to be exported to Spring, this will not be the right file to be exported from. And there are good reasons for that, okay? Technical reasons, but I won't dive into that. So suppose I want to hide this guy. When we want it hidden, actually want it hidden from start. It's not going to be shown after we get to the advanced animation, which I'm not sure I'm gonna. I think this is way too, late on animation. I'll probably just do it right after the start animation is over, which is at frame 52. So yeah, at frame 52, I'm gonna hide this part. So go here to object properties, here, and visibility, and you can show the shown in viewports. Enable it, and that's actually shown, but you notice that here's the other way around. It's yeah, you have to revert this setting. It's a bit confusing because this is true and this is false. This becomes 0 actually. If you go to the ref editor, it's easy to see it. So yeah, one frame before that, well, or whenever you want. Let me show on the graph editor. You see the key, it's stepped key. So you can do that one frame before, you can do that on frame 0. It doesn't really matter, but you have to disable it here. And this means it's already animated. You could also do right click and, add single keyframe or insert keyframe. This just having insert keyframe because there's no set of keyframes to be added there. Anyways, so just disable it. The sad part is that you cannot select it. It deselects right away, and then you have to go to the frame where it's shown. And if there's no such frame, which seems to be the case, you have to enable it again. And yeah, now you can select the part and see the keys. Just select it, click F, and you see that it's actually stepped. You see? It just becomes visible at frame 40. Before that, it's invisible. Blender does make your life slightly hard because there's no way that I know. I have researched a little bit to keep the object selected even if it's not shown in the viewport. Anyways, this setting is going to be exported by the new Skeletor LUS Tween option, the third one here. It's still not being taken into account by the regular create boss and create LUS options, to be honest, because I don't use them. But I probably do it when I, get to animate characters for Total Atomic Power, the game I'm working on. If you haven't checked it yet, please do. It is fun, I promise. It's a bit hard. People complain that it's hard, but it's hard in a good way. It's challenging. Okay, so this is now hidden. And I do the same for the other advanced guys. Like right arm advanced. Right arm advanced. I think it's just this guy and the 2 pointers. Yeah, right pointer and right pointer. Pointer 1, pointer 2, just pointers. It's the regular one, the regular version. I think I have to yeah, I made all of them. I have to right click. No, where is that again? It's here. Yeah. If I insert the keyframes, then I'm only gonna insert for one of the selected guys. That's why I really like this Blender extension. It's worth every penny. Very cheap, actually. Key all selected objects. So if you're serious about animating in Blender, I would buy it. To be honest, not expensive. But yeah, I did it on frame 39, so that's my bad. Should have been on frame 40. Anyways, right click the name of the property, keyframe and select objects, and go to frame 0 and I'll disable all of them. I think I can disable all of them here. I think. No, it doesn't. That's so deep. Let me try again. Right pointer 1, right pointer 2, and right arm advance. Okay, I got the 3 of them selected, and show. I don't think alt click's gonna work, will it? I don't think so. Oh, apparently it did. Oh, yeah, it did. Go figure. Learn something new every day. Anyways, alt click did work. I'm not sure it's gonna work for everything, but at least here it worked. And if I'm correct, this guy's gonna be out for the whole standard pointer animation. And then at frame 40, the advanced pointer is going to show up. Of course, I have to hide the standard pointer, and with that hidden, I'll do the rest of the advanced modes animation. So we'll just finish this part here and yeah, finish this video too, so it doesn't get too long. Then we get to the actual export part and integrating into the engine.